My fiance told me that he had better than me and confessed to hooking up with a guy, but he never realized that his attempt at an honest conversation would make him single. My fiance, whom I'll refer to as Alex, and I have been together for under 2 years and engaged in December. Everything has been a blast since we met, and we keep surprising each other with just how awesome of a couple we can be. Last night, we had a special date night for New Year planned where we dressed up like bowlers from the 1970s and bowled our asses off for a few frames until we finally decided on a winner. We drank 2 beer towers during the 5 games, about 7 beers each. He's not a big drinker, so he was a little more than tipsy when we decided to call it a night and head home. We live close by, so we walked to and from the bowling alley since we figured we would be drinking. On that 15-minute walk home, he did the usual mushy I love you and other cute little things he told me while giggling. Things took a bit of a turn when he started talking about how much he enjoys our segs. He's always told me that we have amazing segs and that he can't get enough, but in his drunken state, he told me something different. "You're the 3rd best that I've ever had." I stopped walking for a second and just stared at him in disbelief. Alex just looks at me, giggles again, and kisses me. I thought he was just saying that to agitate me like he does, but he did not mean it. I laughed it off, and we kept walking. He brings it back up once we get home and sit on our front porch. "I do mean it, though, babe. You're amazing, but I have had better before you." I was as confused as I was, mad, embarrassed, and offended simultaneously. I asked him what he was saying to me and if he was being serious. He started crying and told me he had a one-night stand before meeting me with a woman who was like a sex goddess. He also mentioned a past fling with a guy when they were both teenagers and experimenting with substances. Both of these confessions took me completely off guard because he never in our time together mentioned anything about being bi-curious or anything like that, let alone promiscuous sex. My commitment to Alex is starting to change now, though, and I haven't been able to look at him all day and avoid him. I have second thoughts about following through with the marriage if he always considers me a third-place prize. Even if I did think there was something about Alex that wasn't as good as a past relationship, I wouldn't openly tell him that I thought he wasn't as hot, handsome, had a small PP, etc. That just seems kind of mean and feels a little malicious or petty. Update: 2 days later, the morning after we went out, he pretended everything was okay and was as sweet as usual, but I was short with him and ignored his texts all day before leaving for work. When we both got home in the evening, I still couldn't even look at him, so he asked me what was wrong, and I told him. Apparently, he hardly remembers anything after we finished bowling. He recalls walking home and saying things he felt embarrassed about and then sitting outside and cuddling with me on the porch. I told him exactly what I remember him saying, and he looked mortified. He apologized profusely and told me I was the only person he'd slept with and ever cared this much about. Still, I told him he'd humiliated me and made me feel like I was the problem and needed some time apart, so he volunteered to stay with his brother to give me some space. He's since spent the rest of the evening and today trying to make it right, leaving voicemails and texting that he really didn't mean to hurt me and that he was drunk and stupid. He kept reiterating that I'm the best thing that's happened to him, the sex he had before was meaningless, and that you're my number one as far as anyone I've slept with that matters. It just made me madder. Like he's now lying to save face and trying to manipulate me into feeling like I'm overreacting after making me feel like a lesser partner in bed. I finally told him to stop and told him I didn't believe a word he said anymore and that even if he's being sincere, nothing he says will undo the fact that deep down, he'll always think of me as a consolation prize to some sex goddess and his male buddy. I'm honestly also second-guessing if he even likes women and is not ready to deal with being with someone who's questioning their sexuality. He started crying, again, and said he just wanted to open up to me since we've never had a conversation about previous partners. In his drunk state, he thought we were at that point where we could have honest conversations, but he regrets the timing and lets it slip while drunk. He said he'd move out and leave me alone but hoped I wouldn't share what he told me with family and mutual friends, which I agreed to. I don't feel bad about ending things. He didn't think before speaking, and now he's just trying to patch it up and minimize it as a mistake and attempt at an honest conversation when I know he's just trying to lower my self-esteem and make me feel like I need to turn into a sex goddess in bed or be more like a man. I've realized my self-worth, and I'm no one's bronze medal.